Hello, fellow lovers of truth, wisdom, and courage. I thought it was time to give my much neglected pagan monk video some love for a change. With the doxing drama and especially the shadow banning of my main channel, Riff Magos, I thought, okay, let's give this channel some love, and especially since it's far away from all the drama and fuckery surrounding my main channel. So here we go. A few things have been on my mind lately, but the main one that keeps coming up is censorship and the pursuit of the truth simultaneously. It's truth is a funny thing. It's never popular. People claim they want people to be honest. They want the truth. However, I think you'll find that judging by their ego mind reactions, that this is actually far from the truth. And especially living in this, as we call it, the clown world order reality, it's even more pronounced for those who actually have their eyes opened to see what's going on and have their ears opened to hear what's going on. Because the main thing these days is ego mind, and fueled by, I suppose you could say, by the, as the Gnostics would say, the Demiurge world we find ourselves in, which of course involves a whole lot of chaos and all manner of manifestations of negativity. And all kinds of... you see people all the time lately. They're cold-hearted. They're meaner than they used to be. They're more easily triggered. They might be more inclined to be nasty towards you if you share even a little snippet of truth with them. Now that goes for real life as well as the online world, which is fickle at the best of times. So of course, those of you... yes, I'm talking to you, Savage Reality, will know what I'm talking about when I mention the Demiurge world. And I do excuse any kind of noises you may hear. I do have visitors and neighbours making noise next door. But Demiurge world, it manifests in a lot of what people are talking about, although many of them... although they provide positive information, they're caught up in mistaken mythological motifs, namely, oh, it's satanic. So they're caught up because their spiritual path, yes, I'm talking about mainstream Christianity, is mired in the mistaken ideology of historicism, quote unquote. They totally miss the point of the real spirit and power of the original Gnostic Christian religion. And thereby they degenerating into the devil made me do it medieval small-mindedness. Right? And of course... That ensures that they're missing out on the truth and the whole point of things, which of course was the whole point of it to begin with. Do you honestly think that Constantine the fucked, I will never call that moron great, do you really think that Constantine the fucked had people's greatest good at heart? I mean, in the Greek Orthodox Church today, they've sainted the imbecile. And there's a feast day for Saint Constantine and Helen. And I'm thinking, you're bloody kidding. But no, I'm not. So, of course, by I mean, you did have wonderful men back then, like the Greek philosopher Celsus, whose writings, of course, were destroyed. A whole lot of book burning. Does that sound familiar? Right? Destroyed by the empire, shall I call them, like Star Wars, because the historicist Christian church is indeed the empire. Not so much anymore because they no longer have the power of the state. But for so many hundreds and hundreds of years, they were the empire, destroying and censoring and altering and forging what they will. And Celsus's writings were one such gentleman whose writings were destroyed. And the only quotes we have are in such writings by morons like Eusebius and all other such morons who wrote about the quote-unquote history of the church. Yes, as I'm not fond of the Latinized spelling, I can and will, whenever possible, go back to the original Hellenic spelling. Bastardized Western Greek, why the hell would I want to do that? But anyway, that's another discussion. So yes, you have idiots like Eusebius who quoted portions of this man's writings, and the man was absolutely legendary. And all the man did was question the consensus reality which Constantine approved historicist Christianity became at that time, as more time went on. And it was already sort of like fermenting in the kernel of bitter, twisted, black, smelly crap. But there were people questioning, and there were gentlemen, pagan Hellenic philosophers like Celsus, who were questioning. And he asked, what makes your ideology different to anyone else's? We already have a dying and resurrecting God-man. And he named, Asclepius and, Osiris, or Mithra, everyone did it. We did it. The Persians did it. The people whose bottoms we kicked twice. The Babylonians were doing it. The Egyptians were doing it. A lot of people at that time had their own motif of an archetype of the dying and resurrecting God-man. It did not begin with Christianity. I'm sorry to disappoint you people. It's a very ancient mythological motif which speaks to many layers of human psychology and consciousness, which is why it has always been so fucking popular. So the man asked, what makes your religion so different than these existing ideologies which have been around for a very long time? And what did they say? Oh, because ours actually existed in history. So, of course, the church, with its resources at hand, went back and did some mighty fine censorship and altering, which would make George Orwell in 1984 scream in horror. They even added false passages in the writings of that of the Jewish writer and historian Josephus. And of course, with the past 200 plus years of biblical scholarship, it has of course been shown that it's a blatant forgery, as are over a third of the books of the New Testament, I'm gleeful to say. So those of you who are quoting 1 John, 2 Peter, blah, 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 yeah, they were written by the same morons that I was actually talking about. But you had this wonderful group of people called the Gnostics who encoded all these different aspects of reality and truth into symbology, which even to this very day is absolutely fantastic to read, meandering though it is at times. And of course the Demiurge is one of them, and of course he was the false creator and the author of suffering and chaos and the inversion that we're experiencing today. And of course there's a whole deeper explanation. I may do a video on the Demiurge next time. Actually, that might be a good idea considering the chaos world, clown world order we're living in, but I'll save that for the next one. Otherwise, I'll be here for 2 hours. And I think only one person, Savage Reality, would probably appreciate that. But yeah. So through all my blabbering and meandering, basically the world we're living in is this Demiurge reality, this chaos world order, this clown world order, where all the good is being covered, censored. The light is being dimmed. It's never been so dim in a very long time. The light of the truth I'm talking about. And this actually makes the expression, the shining of the same light and the expression of the truth even more important, because ego mind is another expression of Demiurge, of the Demiurge. It's that part of us. It's like the light and dark side of the moon contained, unified into one individual. That's what a human is. And of course, those misguided people in Christianity, in New World, you go to any New Age bookshop, you'll see books by people going on about being all lovey-dovey and carey-sherry and, let's all sort of like just pretend negativity doesn't exist, and we'll sort of just keep spouting these platitudes. Right. Sorry about that. And that's the thing about interruptions, your train of thought is interrupted. So who knows which direction it'll go in now. But, I believe the last thing I said was mindless platitudes. So when a person is focused on, say, the positive and, positive affirmations, yeah, fine, but unless you actually do travel down the left-hand path, as esotericists call it, you won't know the full unity and full expression of the truth and the light, because you haven't expressed or experienced the darkness within yourself yet. Now, the problem is, around today, a lot of people are still caught, mired, lost in that darkness within themselves. And, of course, when the whole system, when all aspects, because it's all energy vibration, every expression in reality is energy vibration, and physical reality expression is the final step. So when everything is predominantly of a certain quote-unquote darkness, energy vibration, which is the majority, it seems, those who do exhibit and express and show the light side energy vibration are focused, shadow banned. Yes, you've got to love YouTube for that lately. My main channel is shadow banned, and as I think my friend Hammerhand, his channel is being shadow banned also as we speak. So yeah, fun and games. But censorship, this is what all this censorship is for. It's nothing to do with diversity and inclusion. If it was, everyone would have been included. The masculine would not have been demonized as it is so blatantly and horrifyingly this day. Because within the masculine, the archetype of the masculine, therein lies power and the ability to really get shit done. And of course they don't want that, because they want people to be clueless and bogged down in mindless entertainment and dramas online and fuck sports teams and fuck knows what else. Let's keep the people stupid and diverted. Let's give them Circus Maximus to divert them from what we're really doing behind the scenes. Does that sound familiar? Yes, it happened before in ancient Rome. You would have thought after almost, 2,000 years that we would have learned something. Oh, then of course we can sort of partially chalk that up to the wonderful church-inspired Dark Ages. What a wonderful fucking time. But that's the point of my rambling. We're being shut down. We're being silenced in any way that we can, especially in this interconnected technological matrix that we're living in this Demiurge. Because really, the Demiurge world is actually the Matrix. In case you didn't know, it's just people to get too bogged down in the red pill, blue pill, purple pill, ooh, black pill. Yes, I'm going to be a mindless fucking nihilist and just sit back and try to be as invisible as possible while watching the world burn and cheering it on. No, that's not how it fucking works. when you discover the light within yourself, it's your duty to fucking share it. And if you're shadow banned, go to another channel, go to another platform. So yeah, that's how it fucking works. Now's the time to not be silent. Now's the time to share our truth more than ever. Because the powers that be, the clown world, the chaos world order, the Demiurge world, the Matrix, are all conspiring to keep us silent. And yes, it takes courage. Yes, I took a couple of weeks away from my main channel because I was just filled with the absolute rage of being doxxed on a clueless, illiterate moron's live stream. Yes, I'm a Hellenic Highlander, so that means that in my father's village, that level of dishonor and disrespect, yeah, he would have been castrated by his nuts. Hung in a tree by his nuts. Okay? So yeah, there was a lot of anger to deal with. And of course, energy channeling, when you have that kind of... Because anger is a very powerful emotion. Right up there with sexual energy. Those two very powerful emotions within a human being. And when one is experiencing that level of rage, yeah, you need to keep away from people as much as you can. So I thought, I'll give this channel some love. It's more esoteric based. I don't have to focus on, specifically, quote-unquote, MGTOW topics. Because, MGTOW is just one aspect of all the above mentioned. But anyway, people don't seem to understand that. And when you do start to understand it, is when you really find truth, real truth within yourself. And just remember, when you do start to express the truth within, those of you who are still with me to this point, I salute you. To speak the truth is a lonely path.